Let me start off, and I appreciate the crowd, and I appreciate coming here to Destin. I'll come back again and again to make sure this program works properly. Let me give you where we stand right now as of today. This is very important information that I want to convey to everybody in this room. The emergency payment program is over. It ended on November 23rd. We processed claims through December 15th. We are not here today to talk about the emergency payment program, although it's implicated in a minute, as you'll hear. Everybody in this room has three choices now. Three. Option number one. In the next month, you can begin to file, well, you can file now, but in the next month we'll begin to pay final payment claims. If you want a final payment claim, submit your claim, document it. The Gulf Coast Claims Facility will come back to you and say, here is an amount of money that the Gulf Coast Claims Facility will pay you if you opt for a final payment for all your damage that you've documented, past and present, and what we project will be future damage that you will suffer until the impact of the spill is gone. We're talking now with everybody under the sun about the future of the spill in the Gulf. Hotel associations, lodging, fishermen, shrimp associations. The other day we agreed, someone came to us, charter boat captains have a view of this. We are going to listen to, we are in the process of trying to gauge as best we can the future. And one option will be, check off the box, final payment. I won't be back to the Gulf Coast Claims Facility if I get this final payment. I can't sue. I want the final payment. That's option one for you to consider. Some 70,000 people in the Gulf have already checked off the box for a final payment. Option two, I'm not ready to bet what's going to happen in the Gulf. I don't know about the future. I'm not certain about the long-term impact of the spill. I don't want to give up my right to sue. I don't want a final payment. Instead, option two, anybody can check off interim payments every quarter. Document your damage. You don't give up your right to sue. You can keep coming back every quarter with documented damage. Take a check. And only when you're ready will you decide you want a final payment. And those interim payments every quarter, you don't give up any rights. You don't have to take a final payment and worry about the future. If you want the interim payment option, check off the box. About 15,000 people have checked off the interim payment box. Option three. Option three. You already received an emergency payment, even for $1. But you already received an emergency payment. Either, option three, you have no further, you don't expect any further compensation. You've been compensated. Or you cannot document any further damage. Check off the box. If you're an individual, within 2 weeks, you'll get a check for $5,000. If you're a business that received an emergency payment, within 2 weeks, you'll get a check for $25,000. Your choice. But if you accept the quick payment, you can't come back. You give up your right to sue, but the quick payment option is a third option. About 80,000 people in the Gulf have already taken the quick payment option, including in Florida alone, 30,000 businesses and people have already opted for the third option, 5,000, 25,000. I take absolutely no position on which option is better. Everybody is different. Every business is different. Look at your own circumstances. Final payment, interim payment, quick payment. Up to you. Up to you. Now, a couple of other points. In the next 2 weeks, I will post and make available publicly the methodology we're going to use for a final payment. And I'm going to invite comment for a couple of weeks on that proposal to see what people think about it. I don't want to just announce it if there are people here in Destin who think it can be improved. I'll also post within the next 2 weeks the criteria for eligibility. There's been too many situations where people say, I've been denied, I don't know why, what are the criteria? I'm going to post the criteria for going forward with the final payment or the interim payment. So you'll see, everybody will see. Here are the criteria, here's the methodology we're using based on what people have told us the future holds in the Gulf. A couple of other points. If you were denied an emergency payment, you can still refile for a final payment or an interim payment. We will take another look at why you were denied, and we may reconsider and find you eligible. If you received an emergency payment, but you feel it was inadequate, it wasn't enough, when you file for your final payment or your interim payment, we will look at the calculation that we made for the emergency, and if we made a mistake, we'll true it up, we'll add it to the final payment amount or the interim payment amount. So we're trying to deal with any errors, any inconsistencies, any mistakes we made before. No business in Florida is automatically ineligible. No business. If your business can document damage caused by the spill, we'll pay it. We'll look at it, we'll pay it. So no business, I've heard, you're not paying this, you're not paying that. Anybody can file a claim. Doesn't mean it's eligible. Doesn't mean you'll get paid. We're trying to make the payments. We have paid in the last 5 months, as you know, $3.2 billion in the Gulf, the most going to Florida, $1.3 billion in 5 months. So it's not for want of trying to get the money out. Now, people complain to me personally. There's no live body I can talk to in Florida at the claims offices. I can't get somebody who will listen to me. I get the 1-800 or I call and it isn't satisfactory, okay? We have added people at the claims offices in Florida, from Florida. Mike Burke, Rob Blue, both of them are here today. And their teams are available throughout the Florida claims offices. I'm trying to deal with the problem of people frustrated that they can't get through and get some personal one-on-one time to explain their claim and their situation. We're dealing with that. Senator Nelson suggested months ago that I do this. We're doing it. Mike and Rob are here today. They will listen. Their people are going to be available in the various claims offices. Former Congressman Gao is here today. He's now working locally throughout the Gulf with the Vietnamese community and others to respond to their individual concerns. So we are trying to beef up the ability of a claimant to walk in the door and at a claims office and be able to correspond and communicate with an individual. So those are some of the steps we're taking. Posting the methodology, posting the criteria, adding Floridians who understand this community to the local claims offices to deal with inquiries. The program is far from perfect. I never anticipated in my wildest dreams 450,000 claims. BP in 4 months dealt with 80,000 claims. We've received 450,000 claims. Over 100,000 of them was submitted with no documentation at all. Denied. Now, final point. I want to repeat. If you were denied, that does not mean you cannot reapply. Please